Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin filling in for Sam Shad. Joining us today is Carson City District Attorney Garrit Pruiyt. Next on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
I'm Mike Swanson, and welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
Welcome to the Ahern Boutique Hotel, where luxury and warmth come together in the heart of Las Vegas.
We take pride in offering a one-of-a-kind experience for both locals and tourists.
Join us for handcrafted cocktails and an unforgettable experience.
Joel's Chop House, the perfect place to savor views of the Las Vegas Strip.
Satisfy your cravings at the Ahern Chocolate Shop.
No smoking, no resort fees, and the parking is always free. The Ahern Luxury Boutique Hotel is your home away from home.
Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. Joining me today is Garrit Pruiyt, who is the newly appointed District Attorney of Carson City. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So you've been the DA now in Carson City for 5 minutes or so?
About what it feels like.
Okay, no, that's, but when was the appointment? It was a couple weeks ago?
It was a couple weeks ago. I started at the beginning of this month.
All right, so I want to talk about that sort of appointment process and all that sort of thing, but you're brand new, you're the new DA in Carson City. It's a smaller town, but it's the capital, it's an important job. So tell us about yourself. Where'd you come from? How did you get here?
All right, well, I grew up in Boulder City, Nevada, which is just outside Las Vegas. Lived there all through high school, and then I completed my undergraduate degree at University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and then I went off to law school in Florida. Found my way back. I actually found my way to Carson City when I was an intern at the Nevada Supreme Court. And after living there, both my wife and I decided that this is exactly where we wanted to live. So once I passed the bar, I did a clerkship in Southern Nevada, and I was able to obtain employment in Carson City, and I've been there since.
So your first job in Carson City, you worked for the AG's office, right?
That's correct. So I spent some time there, about a year and a half, I believe, was at the Attorney General's office.
And just because it's fun to talk about, I know, and so the viewers and listeners know, I worked with Mr. Pruiyt 6 years ago now, which is crazy.
It's been a little bit.
We were both at the Carson City DA's office together. But tell us about, so your first job at the AG's office. Tell us about that. It was fun.
So while I was at the AG's office, I did a number of things. I did some medical malpractice work. I did civil rights law while I was there. And I was, I guess, technically an in-house counsel for one of our prisons. So I had a whole host of different types of legal issues to deal with. So it was interesting work.
So there's prisoners who, alleging misconduct or want to smoke peyote for religious reasons or that sort of thing. And
there was plenty of that.
Okay, no, it's all good. So and then from there, you went to the Carson City DA's office.
I did.
And how long have you been there now?
I've been in the Carson City DA's office since 2015.
Okay. And doing all criminal stuff, right?
Mostly criminal stuff. Every now and then I'd get some civil stuff, usually assisting the sheriff's office where there's policy procedure or those kind of things. But I spent the majority of my time there prosecuting all different types of crime.
So tell us about the appointment process. First of all, now you got a bunch of responsibility, probably not a bunch more pay for your troubles. What is it that made you want to sort of apply for that position, if that's how it worked? Tell me about that.
So once I found out that my former boss, now Judge Woodbury, was putting in to be appointed as a judge, it was one of those times when you kind of take a look inside and you say, well, what do I want to do and where do I want this office to go? And I looked around Carson City. I care a lot about Carson City. Obviously, I live there. I've lived there since I've been in Northern Nevada. I want to make sure my community stays safe. And I work with a lot of very good people. And there's been a lot of good work that we've done, and I want to make sure that that continues.
So, and what is the appointment process? How do people know? It's an elected position, obviously. You're not elected. How does a DA get picked when there's a vacancy like that?
So the DA is, the appointment process is done by Carson's Board of Supervisors. So once Mr. Woodbury had been selected as a district court judge, the vacancy was then available, and by statute they have to make an appointment. And that appointment in this case is good until the next election. So the next election cycle would be in 2026. And so I guess it was kind of like a request to the Board of Supervisors, more or less, and they put it on the public agenda. There was a public meeting about it. They had some questions for me, and then they voted and made the appointment.
And it was unanimous, I believe, right?
It was unanimous.
No, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's good. So tell us about that transition from going, a lot of times you'll have somebody who runs for office and kind of comes in new in the office. You've been there. Do you think that puts you at an advantage? Do you think it gives you any disadvantages to maybe not have a fresh set of eyes on anything else like that?
So there's definitely some advantages. I mean, some of the advantages is I have a good working relationship with our courts. I have a good working relationship with the sheriff's office, who I've been working with for the last 9 years. But there's a lot of other aspects to being district attorney. Well, primarily my focus, I was the chief criminal deputy for the last few years, was criminal prosecution. So when it comes to a lot of the civil aspects of the job, the representation of the city, and addressing those issues that come up, it is a fresh set of eyes in that sense. But the other benefit, like I said, is I know the workings of the office. I know how they're working, and some of the things that could be working better. So I've started to try and get a start on those things.
So tell me about that. How's obviously anytime you get somebody new at the top, there's going to be some changes. What are some of the new things? What are some of the areas you want to see improved? What are some of those things?
So I want to make sure that we're as responsive as we can be to the public. So one of the things I did as the criminal chief was essentially looked at the allocation of how we're spending our time for our attorneys, making sure that it's in the most efficient way possible. I intend to do the same type of thing with our civil division. They're incredibly busy. There's tons of work, but the question always is, are we utilizing our time and resources in the best way possible to accomplish the work for the public?
No, fair enough. And we're going to talk about this specifically with respect to the criminal stuff when we come back.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. If you're just joining us, with me today is Garrit Pruiyt, who is the Carson City District Attorney. So I want to talk about criminal stuff, obviously. I'm a criminal defense attorney. We work together. I was a prosecutor for 6 years in rural Nevada, including in Carson City. So, I have a lot of thoughts and opinions and feelings, as I know you do too. But when most people think of the district attorney, I think generally they're thinking about criminal prosecutions, and that's sort of what they see. So talk to me about your sort of philosophy of this. I obviously nobody's going to come in and say, hey, I'm coming to be the DA because I want to be softer on crime. Nobody, obviously. But you talked earlier about keeping the community safe. How do you approach that? You can't just put everybody in jail, and that doesn't work after a while.
So one of the first things I'm going to look at is we need to evaluate the way our cases come into our office. And with any prosecution, it's not about just making sure that we're prosecuting that just case, but we're doing it the right way. So that to me is incredibly important. So any type of case that comes in, we need to conduct a review of that case to ensure that we have the criminal elements met for a crime before we proceed on that type of case. So
what do you mean by the right way when you say that phrase?
So, for example, in any type of criminal case, obviously the person who's charged with a crime has some type of representation, and there's a discovery process that takes place. And that is where there's a transfer of the evidence that the state possesses to that individual and their attorney. To me, it's very important that what we have, they have. I'm not the type of person who wants to play games with discovery. We're not looking to hold things off until later in the process or anything like that. What we have, I want to make sure that they have it and that they have it in a timely manner so that they can make good decisions.
Cards on the table. That's good. I think as a defense attorney, I like it. As a prosecutor, that's how I operate. It's good. I always joke that anything you do right, I trained you on. I'll take credit for that. If you do it wrong, it's not my fault. No, I'm just kidding with that. But but as it gets to how you decide what offers to give or all that sort of thing, and I know it's not all you. It's some of it's the lawyers that are in the trenches. What's the philosophy behind that in what sort of offers to make? How aggressively to prosecute certain cases? Tell us about that.
So the goal at the end of the day is always to do justice. So if we take the full type of range of crimes that there are, you have someone in, say, on a first offense, petty theft, simple stealing from a store, something like that. They've got no history. Our goal is to put them on a path to where they're no longer in the criminal justice system and very likely won't have a criminal conviction. You got someone who's come in and they've got, 15 arrests in the last 2 years for stealing. That's a very different ballgame, and that person's likely looking at a recommendation from us as the state for jail time. And so we try and evaluate not just the type of offense, but the offender that's before us to ensure that we can put an end to the criminal conduct.
So are there some specific kind of trouble areas or some hard stops for you? When I was a DA, sort of my rule is if you screwed with somebody in their house, if I had anything to say with it, my presumption is that you're going to spend some time behind bars. Is there any sort of specific areas that you are particularly concerned about in Carson City?
I don't know of necessarily specific concern, but when you talk about areas where we kind of have those harder stops, yeah, something like a home invasion, a home burglary, yeah, that's a hard stop. Use of a firearm or other type of force during the course of a theft, also hard stop. And crimes against children, there's not going to be tolerance for harm to children.
Now, obviously, though, no two criminal cases are the same. There's not one size fits all. What sort of things are you looking at? And you're correct, your job is to seek justice. What specific things are you looking at to determine whether or not, you come down or go harder, that sort of thing?
So we're going to look at the severity of the crime. Like you said, not every crime is created equal, and the harm isn't equal. While the elements of each offense may have been established, the actual harm to the victim may vary significantly. So the more severe the harm, the more severe, you could say, the penalty that's there. Also, we're going to look at the offender's history. More history, the harsher we're going to look at the resolution of that case.
Are there, in the criminal context, what are some of the things that and with no disrespect to your predecessor, obviously there's always things that can be improved and all that sort of. What in the next year, what specifically are you looking to sort of tighten up or improve or get tougher on or not or anything else like that? Have you thought about that?
Yes. So, as it pertains to our criminal side, I'm looking to provide them with a little more guidance on the charging and resolution of their cases. As you know, when you started as a prosecutor, you have this whole nebulous world to work in, and sometimes having a little bit more established guardrails on how things can be done in the best way, I think will be very helpful to them. And then I already mentioned what I want to do on the civil side is make sure that we're allocating our resources in the best way possible.
Well, we're going to talk about the civil side in a little bit. We got a couple more minutes because I want to talk about the criminal stuff because I know more about it and then I don't look so foolish. But so what do you mean by that? So, for example, in Washoe County right now, there's sort of very strict policies on what the individual deputy DAs can do. It's led to a huge increase in trial and actually a decrease in the conviction rate, which I think has not made the community safer. How do you strike the balance between providing that guidance? I notice you got a whole bunch of really young, brand new lawyers in your office. I haven't even met them all yet, but how do you take those guys and make sure that they're sort of following your philosophy without trying to micromanage them all the way through?
So one of the first things I tell the prosecutors that I have is we hire them for good judgment. That's essential, like you said. There's no way to micromanage or know on every single case everything that's going on or every fact and circumstance. Good judgment is essential. So what I meant by providing them with kind of guardrails, as you know, with certain types of crimes, take a driving under the influence offense, for example, if we can prove it, that case should go forward to a trial. Now, in your more serious offenses, if you're looking at a resolution that is a little more outside the norm, or you could consider perhaps a bigger reduction based upon the facts and circumstances, I want especially our newer prosecutors to have a conversation with our more seasoned prosecutors. We have quite a few prosecutors in the office who have done many, many trials, been prosecuting 10, 15 plus years apiece. And so before they would look at resolving a case for less, or perhaps even taking a harsher route on a case that they feel really passionate about, one of those guardrails is have a conversation with those more experienced prosecutors to make sure that you're going down the correct path with that case.
No, fair enough. All right, and then so when we come back, I want to talk about some of the civil issues that you alluded to before, and we'll be right back.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
Here on 7 at 7, we're bringing you the local headlines in just 7 minutes.
We've got you covered in the morning, evening, and for all breaking news, in between, and as it happens.
Life is busy, and we don't waste your time. Join us for local news now streaming on our YouTube page.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
Snorkel personnel lifts are engineered beyond the industry norm to an uncommon level of safety.
and durability, and with an eye towards sustainability. They're also designed to be simple to operate and maintain. Snorkel, always at the cutting edge of progress.
We wouldn't steer you wrong with the gold standard of steaks at Joel's Chop House. Indulge in dry-aged steaks, seafood, Wagyu tomahawks, and great views of the Strip.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. This is Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. And if you're just joining us, we have today Garrit Pruiyt, who's the newly appointed Carson City District Attorney. So most of the time when people talk about the district attorney, they're thinking about criminal prosecutions. But a lot of people don't realize just how much the district attorney's office does to represent the city in various civil, non-criminal matters. So in your background, as you said before, is mostly the criminal prosecution. How are you getting up to speed with all of this new civil stuff, suing, being sued, all that sort of thing?
So it definitely takes me back to my time at the Attorney General's office. I think the first jury trial I did was a federal jury trial in federal district court. And so getting up to speed on those, it was a civil case. It was a civil rights matter. I think I represented 17 corrections personnel, over 21 different counts. It was quite the event. Trial went well, but no, there's a lot that comes back with that. So getting up to speed, the first thing is making sure I have read through and I'm up to date on all the pending civil actions that are taking place, either initiated by the city or in a sense received by the city. So I've started there, and then it's a matter of getting up to speed on all the other boards and all the other actions that are just taking place on a day-to-day basis.
So let's actually throttle back from there, because I think it's good for people to sort of know some of these details. What, besides the criminal prosecution, it's not just if the city's being sued. What other sort of tasks do you have? You represent the county, city of Carson City.
That's correct. So if anyone were to think of the city as any large business, I mean, the city has hundreds of employees, like any medium-sized city would. And every one of those large businesses would have essentially in-house counsel office who's going to look at contracts and employment matters and all those different types of things. And then for a city, you add on, you have zoning changes and you have everything that goes with that, how your utilities come out, your water, your power, your sewer, all of those things. And then you have boards of health. You have all the different boards that regulate the different aspects of the city, from culture to tourism and everything in between, and each of those has representation from the city.
So your office has an attorney that goes to, because somebody's at the Board of Supervisors meetings, every one of those board meetings, to an attorney there to make sure they're following open meeting laws, all that sort of thing?
Correct. That's exactly what we're doing every day.
Yeah. But so what are some of the big issues on that civil side that your office is dealing with that are facing Carson City right now? Is there anything that you can even talk about?
Well, I can't talk about the ones that have pending litigation, as you can probably guess, but I mean, obviously the big issues, usually the ones that bubble up the most are sometimes zoning changes, difference to the planning, because it affects people's daily life, and we understand that. And there's delicate balances to strike there. And so while it's our Board of Supervisors who are endeavoring to make those informed decisions, our goal is to make sure that the decisions that they're making are in compliance with the law.
So you alluded a couple of times earlier to sort of making sure that you're allocating the resources properly on that civil side. And the fact you said it a couple of times makes me think you have some concern about that. Is that what improvements do you want to see on that side?
So I don't know if I would highlight it as like specific concern to a piece, but what I found when I did the same type of thing with the criminal division, from our attorneys down to our support staff, we found ways to better utilize our time that resulted in time savings, where we could then apply that time to active cases. So I want to make sure that we've done the same thing with our civil department. So they need to be responsive to their clients. That's absolutely essential, and they are very responsive, but there's other things that can pull them away, whether it's public records requests or different types of things. Are we utilizing the right staff to accomplish the right task? And so that's what I want to make sure of.
Do you have enough staff? Is it big enough? I mean, all of northern Nevada is growing, our population is increasing. I don't think there's enough attorneys kind of anywhere in a lot of places. Are you struggling with some of that as well?
Yeah, I think it's a struggle that everyone has. Obviously, I mean, we have the budget that's allocated for us by the taxpayer, and I want to make sure we utilize it in the best way possible. If we had more staff, could we put them to work? Absolutely. There's plenty of work to go around.
No, and that's fair. But so and at this point, I guess you're still probably in just assessment mode. Is that fair to say?
That's exactly fair to say.
Well, is there anything else in the last kind of 30 seconds that we have that you want to tell people about Northern Nevada? Why should anybody outside of Carson City care about the Carson City District Attorney? Tell us about, or broader vision, anything else like that about your job. How do you expect to demonstrate some leadership with respect to that?
So if it's for the public caring about how we do things, obviously we're the state's capital. There's a lot of people that come from legislators across the state to tourism and those kind of things, and I want to make sure that each and every one of those people feel safe as they're walking about Carson City. And for the residents of Carson City, I want to make sure that they're listened to, they're understood, and that they know that we're out to accomplish the best interests of the city and for their best interests as well.
All right, and that's where we're going to leave it. That's all the time we have for today. We'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the heat back on today. Call us today and we'll fix it today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why freeze for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your furnace fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take an Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us. This has been Orrin Johnson filling in for Sam Shad. Join us at NevadaNewsmakers.com 24/7.